I'm Dipali. I am a fitness freak. I am a biggest believer in women entrepreneurship. My prayers and gratitude every day. That's what really grounds me. It's my Tara, my dog, my golden retriever, who was gifted to me, by the way, by my younger daughter.
Beautiful.
And let me tell you the reason. We'll talk about technology, AI. But I think honestly, for a human being, simple pleasures will give you happiness. But I've seen my mother work since being a child, taking off work, homework, taking care of business, taking care of the big family that we lived in, was there ingrained in my mind. It's a journey of evolution. And I will always say that I'm still learning. My time's now. I have another 20, 30 years to do what I can do. In this world, there are a lot of distraction, and I think the social media is the biggest distraction for all of us, right?
Dipali, if you had to introduce yourself without a superficial marker or a social tag, how would you introduce yourself to the world?
So I'm Dipali. I am a fitness freak, and I am a biggest believer in women entrepreneurship, and I want to have more and more women leaders in the system, and that's what I really love doing. The other thing that is my passion is to have more and more children go to school. And for me, as Dipali, that's very, very fulfilling. And when I walk in anywhere, if I can make an impact, even small impacts, that really makes me very happy.
Dipali, today we are here at your personal space, your sanctuary, which is the gym, because you've centered your life around it. What changes when you come to the gym, and what is your mindset when you're working out?
When I'm in my gym, I think for me, an easy answer would be to tell you that no, I'm thinking strategy and business. Those thoughts, let me be very honest and candid,
Sure.
those thoughts, actually cross my mind. But I feel these 60 minutes or 90 minutes are my time. And I'd rather spend that on me, because if I spend that time on myself, is the time I can give to my work in a true sense.
You've, for the first time in our interview, said myself. What is that one thing that grounds you?
My prayers and gratitude every day. That's what really grounds me, because I'm thankful for the morning when I wake up. For me, it is about just gratitude in the morning. And I think that's what grounds me more than anything else, because, we take so many things for granted.
Yeah.
Even when you're walking, you're taking that for granted. Even when you're talking and hearing, there's so many people who cannot do so. And I think that's what makes me really thank and have my gratitude.
You've traveled extensively for work. What is that one travel story that has changed your life completely?
It's my first trip when I took in 1990s.
Okay.
And not for work. And I was a homemaker then. And my daughter was very young. And that's one story that hangs on to me. Sitting on the flight, and then actually had a meeting with my husband in one of the factories in Europe.
Okay.
Or one of the brands in Europe. And it is in the early 90s, you can imagine. And you're talking about 2000s here, where India is the story and growth story. That's the time somebody tells us that India just tends to copy. India doesn't do anything original. Can you make a towel? No, you cannot make a towel.
And you did exactly that.
Oh, we made the towels in more than 60 countries across the globe, and still
Wimbledon.
growing. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good motivation.
Yeah.
See, little things that ignite fire,
Yeah,
and that is why they say fire in the belly is very important when you're doing business.
absolutely.
How different are you when you are in the boardroom versus meeting you in person? Because I see that peripheries both ways.
Yeah. So, boardroom, you have to have your, decorum. You have to have the way everybody works. But when I'm home, it's my Tara, my dog, my golden retriever, who was gifted to me, by the way, by my younger daughter.
Beautiful.
And let me tell you the reason. She was getting married. She said, you need company and you'll not miss me. And that's where my
That's
Tara
very
came
sweet.
into my life.
And you do have
I just
company.
love playing with her. She's my stress buster
And
through
it's
and through.
unconditional, right?
It's
Because
unconditional. She'll follow you around, she'll be there. And those simple pleasures we so forget in this complicated world. We'll talk about technology, AI. But I think honestly, for a human being, simple pleasures will give you happiness. And for me, it's like my workout, my kathak, my dance, which I'm trained in,
oh
or
wow,
my little Tara.
that's beautiful. It's overwhelming listening to it already. Okay, as one of the most influential women leader, how important are people to you in your organization and otherwise?
People, I'll tell you one thing. When you talk about strategies, when you talk about anything, when somebody is rightly said that culture eats strategy for breakfast, it is very, very true.
Yeah.
And you might find it cliche, but it's a true thing. Like when you are a manager, you're not managing anything but people.
Yeah.
And that's what is so important. And that makes everything go. And you have your upheavals, you have your disappointments, you have some people that you've trusted in have let you down tremendously, but there are certain people who've risen from the ranks of being a trainee to become leaders. That really says, okay, you've done something right somewhere.
Wonderful. Dipali, you said you were a homemaker and
Yeah.
then, there was family and priorities. When was that wake up call saying, okay, I want to dive deep into business, I want to learn more, and I want to do things that possibly a business school wouldn't teach me? Walk us through that life from then to now.
So I'll tell you one thing: nothing happens overnight, and I always believe that a mother usually inculcates the culture in a child.
Yeah.
I've always seen my mother work, and I'm from Jaipur. People will say it's a traditional city. People in Bombay sometimes have said that, oh, you come in from a small town. But I feel my city, Jaipur, is a city of culture, the pink city. But I've seen my mother work since being a child, taking our work, homework, taking care of business, taking care of the big family that we lived in, was there ingrained in my mind. I got married at the age of 18 because of certain personal reasons. My father wasn't well.
Okay.
Cut to coming to 2000, my girls were 10 and 7. I was a homemaker. And rightly so. I think that's the time you build your kids, like you inculcate the right value system. And I believe that was the right time. And since I got married early, I had the leeway. 30, I start thinking, I have 2 daughters. Coming from a Marwari society, the male heir is a very important thing. And you would have heard about it a lot of times.
Societal tags, you see.
You see that.
Yeah.
And then I said, if I don't open the doors for my daughters and if I don't be that example, then who will be?
Yeah.
And that's where I started working. And it's not about business openly. I think, let me tell you, and let me tell you to everyone here that it's a journey of evolution. And I will always say that I'm still learning.
Yes.
And so when I started very basic. I started taking care of my office, my administration, just learning. And these are not small things in life. These are little things that make you. Then I set up the design studio at Welspun, and then the brand spaces happened. I didn't know anything about management then. I didn't know anything about how that product is made. But I think when you have a passion, you have an attitude of resilience, never give up, and you want to do something that you love doing. Because for me, a towel and a sheet was very close to our heart because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I see that in my home. I
Yes.
see, and I think that is something everybody sees. And that's what then I started doing. Going to the factories, learning about everything, going on the shop floor in India, how people were buying, is where my journey began with the brand spaces in 2003. And then that continued to evolve into 2008 and 9. And I had just turned 40 that time. And that's where I was, asked that, take on the reins of Welspun India that time. It was not an easy task.
It never is, right?
Yeah. And, it is like, when you move from one journey to the other, it always has to just grow and evolve you. There were not women in the organization. There were just, very few women. So that was a very important thing. And I always believe, and I think for me, Sakshi, the important thing is that you always play on your strengths.
Yeah, always.
That's my learning. I don't know everything, and I will not know everything today as well. Let me own that up. Because I think today also in this world, you're unlearning to learn a lot of things, right?
Yes.
Now, that's where it is. So for me, I played on my strengths. And what was that? My EQ.
Yeah.
And I think today, when I talk about it, today in the world where you have technology, the most important thing is EQ.
Correct.
And I think that's where what the consumer voice, what innovation can be, how the, not taking just the manufacturing, but taking the communities together was a very important aspect for me. And that's where it began.
Quietly, there are thoughts coming through. When you reflect back in life, what are these things that are yet to be done and things that you would possibly regret that I should have done it better?
People have asked me, and Sakshi, I'm just putting it in a very different way of an answer.
Sure.
Is that people have asked me a lot of times that what would you have done differently today? Would you have, done and gone and got married later so that you could have, done something, more? I said, no. I think this is where my journey began, where when I was 30, I started working. My girls were 10 and 7. I mean, it was good that, they were at that age where I could start working. Then I went to, Harvard to do my OPM to learn. And I continue to learn today as well, because I know I've not learned enough. But I think I always say that, yes, my time's now. I have another 20, 30 years to do what I can do. And that's where, it was.
If you were to give one piece of advice to someone my age or maybe younger, what would that be?
There's one thing I feel, and I tell my daughters, that in this world, there are a lot of distraction. And I think the social media is the biggest distraction for all of us, right? Yeah. And that also is a reason for mental health. Believe in yourself. Spend more time with nature. Read more books, which, we always forget. Pray. Have gratitude. And last but not the least, this world is tough. Yeah. And it's going to throw curveballs at you all the time. But believe in yourself always. And there'll be a time where you will want to give up. But that's the time. Please don't give up and continue.
You always need someone to tell you that you are enough, and we look for validation outside,
yes.
Right?
Yes. You are very much enough.
Yeah. At least for yourself.
For yourself. And I think that's what it needs.
Yeah.
Right?
Lovely. It was interesting having a conversation, and I think we will not stop if, time permits us. But thank you so much for your time, Dipali. It is lovely.
Thank you. A pleasure.
From textile floors to towels to global boardroom and the gym today, it is clear that Dipali brings the same intensity and authenticity in every aspect of her life. The iron that she's lifting today forges the steel for Welspun's future. Thank you so much for being a part of Off the Clock, and I look forward to seeing you for many more episodes.